Hello everyone and good day. And it's Anthony Saul again. And for today, I'm going to discuss to you my second report for the Advanced Operating System requirements. Hello, Sir Chippy. In my first report, uh, I'm talking about the Symbian operating system, which is primarily designed for devices that has a limited resources. And one of the example dyan is yung cell phone. And it is in contrast to the operating system that I'm going to discuss to you, the Z operating system, which are specially built and designed for computer system that are composed of very huge amount of computing resources. And for the flow of my report, I divided it into two parts, which for every part it has a subtopic. And the first part is will be the introduction to mainframe computer because we cannot discuss ZOS without discussing what is mainframe computer because technically uh, COS is primarily designed for mainframe computer. And then for the subtopic, of course, we're going to know about introduction about the mainframe computer, the factor that contribute to the use of mainframe computer, and what are those uh, industry or sector that uh, using ZOS and mainframe computer. And then the part two, we're going to focus our discussion to the Z operating system itself, its key features, and some important components like storage, CPU, the RAM, and security. And okay, let's start. And the first thing that we need to do is to define what really is mainframe computer. As can you see here in the picture at the right, this is one of example of a complete set of mainframe computer. And at the left, you can see here uh, the component inside a mainframe computer. Primarily, mainframe refer to as a large cabinet which house the many component. Mainframe computer is a powerful computer having multiple user interface. For example, in this one set of cabinet, it's in-house all the primary component like CPU, the RAM, the uh, Ethernet adapter, all the primary component of a computer system. Mainframe computer is used by large organization for critical application. For example, bulk data processing or such as census. And then for industry dealing with consumer statistics. And also usually for enterprise resource planning or for those company that has a ERP system. Mainframe computer is physically larger and have more processing power as compared to other classes computer. For example, server. Server is also a computer system that also had a very large amount of computing resources. For example, there are also server with multiple number of processor and very large amount of RAM and storage capacity. But still, in terms of computing resources, server is very far behind as compared to the computing resources of mainframe computer. Okay, let's take a look at the component inside of a mainframe computer. As can you see here, the picture, uh, different devices and component of mainframe computer is divided into different layer. There are components that are in the bottom layer, some are in the middle layer, and other are in the top layer. So we're going to see what are those important components here in the next slide. Here, as we can see here in the picture, the top layer is the location of battery and power supply. The mainframe computer has its own uh, batteries for backup because mainframe computer is running 24/7 and it is running uninterrupted because sabi ko nga, critical application are running inside the mainframe computer. The second layer here is the local storage, where of course that's we're going to store the ZOS, just like an ordinary computer. The operating system is usually stored in this local drive. And here in the middle, you can see here the CPU and RAM. In a mainframe computer, the CPU and RAM uh, socket are usually combined. There are purpose for that, and we're going to discuss that in the succeeding slide. And in the uh, middle button, you can see here the Ethernet controller. Of course, for the internet, you can see here there's a lot of Ethernet port. Nowadays, for example, uh, there are a lot of high-speed networking cable inserted here. And then at the bottom layer are what we call the control unit. Technically, this control unit is a termination point of other uh, important component of a mainframe computer. And as can you see here, at the bottom, there are three control units. Uh, the first layer of this control unit are what we call the direct access storage devices, or basically called DAS controller. This DAS controller usually the termination point that control to the storage devices of the mainframe computer. Because in mainframe computer, it has a separate track for the storage. As can you see here, uh, it has two storage device, one cabinet for HDD storage, and another cabinet for tape storage. And for them to sync for each other, they need the dash controller. The HDD storage is composed of a series of hard disk devices that team up to create a very large capacity size, usually in tera. The HDD used for the storage of many application and concurrent job transaction. No? And for the tape drive, usually it is used to store the backup of the transaction and some other application that are more than a year.